welcome to Chapter 2 of Ruth. So by this stage, Naomi realizes that she actually does have a relative, and his name is Boaz, and he's from the clan of Elimelech. And Ruth says to Naomi, because she knows she's too old, that she'll go and glean. So gleaning is pretty much picking up the leftover grain after people are harvesting. And so there's Boaz's men, and so she ends up being on Boaz's field. And then Boaz sees her and he's like, "Who is that girl?" And his men are like, "That's Ruth. Like, she came and she asked if she could do this, and she's been here all day." And then he calls her forward and he's like, "Stay here. Like, don't go away from here. Stay here with my servant girls. Follow along after the men. I've told the men not to touch you, and if you want a drink, go and get a drink from the water jars." And then Ruth is just like, "What have I done to have favor in your eyes?" And then he says to her, "Well, you know, I've been told all about what you have done for Naomi since your husband died, and that you left your home to live and came here to live with the people that you didn't know before. May the Lord repay you for what you have done. May you be richly rewarded by the Lord, the God of Israel, under whose wings you have come to take refuge." So he's pretty impressed by her, we see. And then Ruth is like, "Oh my goodness." And then later on he's like, "Hey Ruth, come over here." And then he offers her some food, some bread and some wine vinegar, and gives her some roasted grain, and she takes some of that home with her. And then I kind of lost the footage, but Boaz tells his men to leave the grain behind and to not make a big deal about it. And so then Ruth comes home, and she tells Naomi what's happened, and yeah, it's a bit of like a little gossip sesh, I guess. So she's like, "Guess what happened?" And then she says the name of the man I worked with today is Boaz, and Naomi's like, "The Lord bless him. He's our kinsman redeemer, so he's our close relative." And then, yeah, pretty much she says to stay with him, stay on his field, because if you go to someone else's then you might be harmed. And then Ruth is like, "Okay."